Hi, Markian. I'm super excited to chat with you about Why Can't My Life Be a Rom-Com, which I think is a perfect title for this one. I know it was originally Why Can't I Be Like Molly Ringwald, but I think more people are going to reference it. Well, my generation would have referenced it with the Molly Ringwald, but I think this is more a greater chance for more people to actually see what the film is about from their perspective. So I'm really excited. Was there something about the movie or about Rich that made you want to be a part of it? I mean, handsome doctor is not hard for Markian to step into, but
I know I was
perfect. I'm sorry, he was described as perfect
yeah,
doctor.
a perfect doctor, that perfect doctor. It's funny, I was doing some other press and it was pointed out that this is not my first foray into playing a doctor. So I guess I have a habit of of playing doctors at this point. But no, what really attracted me to the project on Why Can't My Life Be a Rom-Com was, and you did mention that Molly Ringwald was the previous title. And those were the movies that I grew up with. They were a little bit before my generation, but my sister was one kind of who introduced me to a lot of these movies from the 80s and the John Hughes era. And I think that anybody, and in the new title, Why Can't My Life Be a Rom-Com? I think everybody's kind of asked themselves that question at some point in their lives, or at least have tried to create situations, at least I have, where my life can seem like a rom-com. I guess I'm a romantic in that sort of sense of it, and love movies. So um, I think the influence of those like 1980s movies, and then there's other rom com influences throughout time in this movie that they're just it's just so fun, and especially when you have the idea of this movie is that Eliza and her friend um, go to the Hamptons to try to find husbands and really try to put themselves in situations where their life can be like a romantic comedy, is just a fun, I think, plot line to explore. And so that's what really attracted to me was just the using the influences from the past to create something really new in this movie for E. So yeah, and it's exciting because it's, I believe, kind of new in the sense of that E's starting these own, like their own original content. So to be part of kind of the first wave of original content with E is just like something that's really exciting because they should be making their own stuff and they're starting to do so now. So it's really great.
Were you familiar at all with any of your co-stars before working with them on this movie?
I was not actually. And what's really great, and I love to always cheer for Canadians because I am Canadian, is that this is it's an all Canadian cast actually. So surprisingly, as small as people may think Canada is, and Vancouver's even being smaller, I didn't know anybody in the cast before getting into this one. So we really bonded throughout it because we shot, spoilers, we didn't shoot in the Hamptons. We shot here in Canada, and we shot out in Victoria and on the coast in Souk, and around Vancouver Island. And so it became a bonding thing because we were all kind of there staying together. And then at the hotel that we're staying at in the movie, I believe it's the Zane Hotel. Um, we all stayed at the hotel, so it was a bit about like when you hear stories about the White Lotus and how they shot their show. Ours was very similar because we would be staying at the hotel and literally be walking downstairs to go to set. So it was just like I felt so lucky, and so the camaraderie, and it felt a little bit like I was at camp the entire time, because of how close in proximity we all were to each other. So I still keep in touch with them all. So when you get those projects like that, it makes the experience that much more better and that much more special at the end of the day because you get to really bond with castmates, which I love to do.
This is such a sweet movie, and I think there's such cute moments throughout every single part of the film. Were there specific scenes you were excited to see filmed? Were you just enjoying behind the scenes moments? What were some of your favorite, I should ask, favorite scenes to film for the movie, without giving too much away.
Yeah, without giving too much away. Um, well, I'm a sucker for boats and yachts, I found out. So there was one day where we were shooting on this massive, I think 30, 40, 50, I don't know, a lot of feet yacht, a huge yacht that was supposed to be mine in the movie. And I've actually never been on one of these super yachts before, so it was such just like the best day ever. I couldn't believe that I was filming because we'd be shooting on the yacht, and then they'd say, okay, Mark, can you have about like an hour to rest here? And I'd just go to the upper decks and start like suntan. And I felt like a king a little bit, like I don't mean to like make it sound like, oh, he's on a yacht all day doing this stuff, but I kind of was, and it was as good as it was in the movie. So not only was I pretending and acting to be on this yacht all day and to have this sort of wealth, that's how it was kind of like how the whole day went. And that's how I felt. There was like 3 bedrooms in this yacht, and there's like a bar and a kitchen, um and it was just like that was my day. And so that's one of those days that you get that you're like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this right now. If they would have said, hey, Markin, we're not going to pay you today, but you get to hang out on a yacht all day, I probably still would have done it. I still would have done it. So yeah, that was my favorite day. So M and I were on set that day, and that's what we got to do. And so her and I were just both laughing and looking at each other, being like, I can't believe this is our job today. So it's nice when those jobs come along.
Totally a challenging film to make.
Yes.
Complete labor, uh, of doing it.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
sounds like though you had such a great time shooting it, and there was so much fun going on. Was it easy then, clearly, for you to shake off a long day of being on set because all you did was walk right upstairs to your room?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And as I'm talking here, I'm like, I don't want to sound pompous. I sound like every actor what people think like, oh gosh, they like their yachts and their fancy stuff and everything. But this was just one of those particular jobs because of the circumstance of we were at a incredible hotel. My character was incredibly rich, or is incredibly rich, and his name is Rich. Um, that was just kind of the circumstance. So yeah, it was super easy because exactly what you just said. I would just like walk back upstairs, go to the hotel pool. I tried to take advantage a lot in Souk of I've never been on that side. So just to explain, like Vancouver Island is kind of like runs north south, and so we were on the south coast up the west side. So that kind of like goes out to the Pacific Ocean there. Um, and so I tried to take advantage of the area, and I did a lot of exploration. And so, like, to give an example of like on my day off one day, I walked outside into the backyard of the hotel and went whale watching one day. Um, and I saw 2 orcas. I saw a pod of 40 humpback whales. Um, and so that, yeah, this was it. And then I would just get driven back to the boat to the hotel and like wave at everybody on set on my day off. So it was like one of these things that I was just like, so yeah, just so incredibly lucky. And then there's like incredible beaches all the way up the coast there that I also explored on my days off. So I'd get back to the makeup chair the next day, and people would be like, Markian, how was your day off? I'm like, I went to the most incredible beach today. I was under a waterfall. Um, I went up to Sombrio and Botanical Beach and saw the whales off the coast there. So yeah, it was just like one of these really special jobs, and that was incredibly, incredibly easy to do. And I hope like from that, because we were having so much fun and because it was easy to shoot at the end of the day, that comes through in the work in the movie. I think you're going to see us have a lot of fun because everybody was in a good mood, and that also creates for a better work environment at the end of the day. So
I mean, sounds like the only person who had a rough day on set was the makeup team having to make you tanner and tanner, uh, as the shoot went on.
yeah, they're like, Marky, don't get too much sun, okay? You can't you're gonna watch my scenes. It's like he's darker here, less here. It's like, oh, that's after he had the 5 days at the beach, and this one is over
Exactly.
here.
You're like, we've had
Yeah,
everything completely laid out for you, Marky, and now we have to go back and formulate some foundation for you and all that, not based
yeah,
on your
yeah,
tanning. So
yeah. Based on the
maybe take a
tanning.
day indoors and do a spa day.
Yeah, yeah. Go to the spa, stay out of the sun for a day. But it wasn't too hot. We were shooting in September, in Vancouver, or Vancouver Island. So yeah, it wasn't like too warm, but 25. You're in the States, right? With Fahrenheit and everything. So we were 25 degrees Celsius. That equates to, I don't know, in the low 80s, I guess. So it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too sunny.
Work
It was a little
vacation.
chill. Work vacation. Yeah, yeah.
How hands-on then was director Rich Newey when it came to filming? Did he trust in the actors? Did he help kind of mold how the film laid out while you were shooting?
Yeah, yeah. Rich, as every kind of director was like truly, but Rich especially was our captain, of the yacht, if you want to say. And he's such a number one sweet guy. One of the definitely the more like caring and just kind of yeah, really kind directors that I've had, which again adds to like the overall set environment, because I do really believe that the director sets the tone for the entire production, right? And he just set such a warm tone to this production, and then had ideas and of course a vision that we were all fulfilling. And with Rich and I, we were actually talking about my character really early on, and I was super happy to hear this from him, and it really came from him, and in collaboration with me, I suppose. But we chatted about, I think when somebody watches this movie, right away you're going to make judgments about Rich, because it's in the synopsis. It's not spoiling too much that Eliza has a choice between this rich doctor and the towel boy, and where do you go, and what kind of follow, what path do you want to go down. And I think a lot of the time I'm fulfilling that stereotype in these kinds of movies, the rich kind of like uh pompous, elitist guy that has all the stuff and has all the riches, but is just like a bit of a I'm trying to find a not a bad word, but a bit of a dick, right? So we didn't want to do that with this movie. And what we wanted to do was make that decision that Eliza has to make really hard. And we don't want to let the audience know which one she's going to pick, because if I'm watching the movie from the beginning and then I just already know what she's going to pick, I don't think there's as much fun in that. So we really tried to make, and Rich was on, Rich. Um, he wanted to make him like a good guy, and that's I think what we did. And so we want to make that decision really really hard, and we want to make the audience guessing right to the very end who she's actually going to go with. So it was really really nice to see the script, be like, okay, the character can go two ways here. We can go down that road, but also I think there's an opportunity to make Rich just a really really good guy. And yes, he has all these things, but he's also a pretty rad human being. So that's, I think, was like what Rich brought to the table with this character, and I'm so thankful, because that's so much more fun to play than just you know that kind of dick character. Yeah.
I mean, there is chemistry between Eliza and Rich and Eliza and Doug. So you are left wondering, will they, won't they, for both parties?
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to make it a fast fan favorite rom-com. Is that what you feel is really going to make it a hit with the viewers as well?
I think so because it's funny that the movie, it plays off of rom-com stereotypes, because that's the nature of what the movie is setting up to do, but also plays against them at the same time. So it's just a much more fresh take, and I think a little more exciting to watch, because of that fact, and that like the journey is not as clear. So I'm sure there's going to be some Team Rich, there's going to be some Team Dougs, and I think that's more fun. And then to have an opinion in the end of the movie, because of course we all know she's going to go one way or the other. To have an opinion as a viewer, to be like she made the wrong decision, she made the right decision, I think is so much fun. And to maybe say I disagree with her decision and I wouldn't have done that is a fun place to be at the end, instead of being like the obvious one to be like, oh yeah, of course you should go down that road. I think that's a lot more fun. And so I'm sure Twitter's gonna love this one.
Well, the movie comes out on February 19th. How do you plan to celebrate the release? Will you be watching along and tweeting along with the viewers?
Yeah, we are planning a cast watch party here. A couple of us are going to be in Vancouver at the time, a couple of other places. So we're trying to like just coordinate a little Zoom-ish half get together in person watch party. And yeah, I'll probably be I whenever something comes out of mine, I'm a little like troll on Twitter. I'm not a troll. I'm trolling the shadows. I'm trolling the shadows. You'll know it's me if I'm liking things, but I like just lurking on what's being said because I find it hilarious, especially when people criticize me, which I think is so funny sometimes. So yeah, I'll be watching Twitter for sure. So follow me or tag me in your tweets. If you hate me, all the better. Or if you hate Rich, okay, you don't
I
know
was just
me.
gonna
You
say,
hate Rich.
I think we found you a little bit too likable in person to really push that, Marky, and we're just gonna focus on you
Yeah,
as a character.
focus on
Focus
me
on.
as Rich. Let me know what you think about him. Let me know what you think. Yeah.
Have you been busy working on any other projects then recently?
Um, well, I do have another one coming out the same weekend, another movie on the Hallmark Channel called Welcome to Valentine that I'll plug here. So that one is coming out on the 18th. So I'd say if you really want a whole weekend of Markian, you can get it with me on the 18th with Welcome to Valentine, 7 p.m. I guess it depends where you are. And then on the 19th is the Why Can't My Life Be a Rom-Com? So that would be the other one that I'm pressing right now. I'm also going to be involved with. They just dropped the trailer for The Night Agent on Netflix, which will be coming out sometime in the next few months. So I have a small little part on that, as well as an episode of Family Law, which is just coming to the CW this year. So I'm in season 3, and so it's going to be a little bit a while. So it'll probably be out in the fall sometime. But I had a really, really sweet guest star in a really, really heartfelt episode on that show. So that's going to be on the CW and a global network in Canada later this year. And then there's some other things that I quite can't talk about yet. But yeah, I just would encourage anybody to just follow me on socials to kind of see what I'm up to. And yeah, there's some exciting stuff.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the wonderful work you continue to do on our screens?
Oh man, I mean, my wonderful. Thanks for being here is like number one. um, I've had a lot of people kind of reach out over the years and say they're fans, and um, it means a lot to me, and especially someone who is kind of in the burgeoning part of their career and kind of finding my way. It's when I get these messages, it really does mean a lot to me because it means that people are watching and recognizing kind of the work that you're doing. And so, um, as small or maybe as like um, as the fan base might be for me, it's like it's even more impactful because yeah, because I'm just trying to get going here. And so, it's just like thank you and thanks for watching, and I hope to continue delivering some really fun stuff in the future.